In chapter 1132, Jim delivers a bag containing a dozen strands of old Mr. Hunt's hair to Serenity, which Noah had collected as per Zachary's instructions. Serenity had decided to use Noah's help to obtain old Mr. Hunt's hair for a DNA test, as discussed with Zachary the previous night. Jim confirms that Noah was willing to assist despite his fear of Serenity. Serenity expresses amusement at Noah's impetuous nature and acknowledges that he doesn't have a bad nature, considering his young age. After receiving the hair, Serenity requests Jim to take her to the test center for another DNA test. Having previously undergone a DNA test with Mrs. Stone, Serenity is familiar with the location of the center. Jim seeks instructions from Zachary before accompanying Serenity to the test center. Upon leaving the center, they notice Zachary's convoy arriving. Serenity approaches Zachary and jokingly questions why he personally came to pick her up instead of having Jim to do it. Zachary takes her hand, leading her to the car, and softly expresses his desire to be the one to pick up his wife whenever he is free. Serenity refrains from commenting on his previous domineering behavior, appreciating the fact that he now respects her and grants her freedom. Zachary shares that he went to Liberty's place in the morning to pick up Sonny, subtly seeking acknowledgement from Serenity. Concerned about Sonny's well-being, while Zachary is busy at work, Serenity questions how he manages to take care of their nephew. Zachary explains that he allows Sonny to play in his office, emphasizing that Sonny was obedient and didn't throw tantrums. Serenity knows Sonny's temperament well, having raised him, and acknowledges that despite his good behavior, Sonny is still an active and mischievous 3-year-old. She predicts that Sonny would only sit still for a short while before causing havoc unless there are toys to keep him engaged. Zachary reveals that Sonny was asleep when he took him to the office and started playing after waking up. Serenity realizes her prediction was accurate and laughs. However, Zachary mentions that Sonny wet his bed, but he swiftly arranged for Duncan to buy clothes for him, including a beautiful dress. Serenity is taken aback by the fact that Duncan bought a dress for Sonny and finds herself speechless. Zachary passionately shares that Sonny considers the dress as a gift for the future little sister of his little aunt, implying their desire to have a daughter. Serenity playfully pinches Zachary's face, denying any secret attempts to conceive behind his back. Zachary pulls Serenity into his arms, placing his hand on her flat belly, expressing his genuine hope for a little girl, as Sonny had mentioned. This leads Serenity to inquire about the rewards mentioned by Jasmine. She heard that anyone in Zachary's family who gives birth to a son receives a reward of $50 million from the elders, whereas having a daughter results in a reward of $500 million. Serenity also mentions that none of the women who have married into Zachary's family so far has received the larger reward of $500 million.